Do you have children like mine that you sort of have to try to pull in from outside? I don't know about you, but I feel totally blessed, really, that one, I have a great yard and a neighborhood that my girls can be outside, and two, that's where they want to be most of the time, especially when it's raining. Maybe especially when it's raining. For some reason, they just love to be outside in rain. You know what? I'm not upset at this. I do love how much they want to be outside. So much so because, you know what? Outdoor learning is so important for our kids and outdoor play. And so let's have a look at this. Let's look at time spent outdoors and with our learning and how actually important it is for our children. Hi, and welcome to Learning Life. Thank you so much for joining me today as we look at learning outdoors. This is great. It really is so much fun. I love being outdoors with my girls. I love that they love being outdoors. I love just taking time to learn new ways of learning things. And part of that and new things, is bringing these videos to you. So I thank you so much for watching. I thank you so much for your likes and your subscribes and your comments. And I thank you for just taking the time to be part of this community. Well, are there really any good benefits for outside learning? The answer to that, what I'm going to say, of course there is. And, there's the research shows that being outdoors is so good for us. So what about learning outdoors though? Outdoor learning, is that really important? It is. It gives children not only the chance to be learning about the world and what's around them and all of that, it really does boost their mental and their physical health, which I think is key. And this really doesn't just have to be for homeschooling. Okay, you might want to phase out and go, homeschooling, they can do it. No, I love that there are a number of schools that have recognized that there needs to be outdoor classrooms and more outdoor time. And they're making it a priority to build outdoor classroom areas for classes to be able to go. And I think that this is wonderful. Of course, when we are homeschooling, we have more of that freedom with our time. And yes, classes in schools have set hours, but can we get our kids outside? You know what? As a parent, if your child is at school and you really love the thought of more outdoor time and outside learning, then be a voice and be a champion to schools and be hey, is there any way that our kids can get outside of the classroom walls to have a lesson outside? Because there are some great benefits for outdoor learning, and let's look at some of them. It makes learning more engaging. It really does. This is because our senses are being used. We're outside. We're getting this stimulus from something other than lights and the color of the walls. There is fresh air, there's wind, there's sunshine, all of these things. It wakes us up. It makes our students more engaged in the learning. Being out there, it is something new and something refreshing. And so this is very good. It makes learning more relevant. This is especially true when you are maybe learning, about outside and what you see outside. I get that, so it's not always completely relevant, but let's not throw babies out with the bathwater right there. But realize that when we can get outside, especially when that's what we're learning about, that is what we should be doing. It nurtures creativity and imagination. Oh, yes. I love that. In fact, I used to get in trouble at school a lot for just staring out the window and daydreaming, just sort of see that movement out there. It just would set me off, though I could still sort of compartmentalize and still hold on to the lesson. But there's something about being outside that just can stir that imagination, stir that creativity. And shouldn't we be doing that for our kids, just waking up those brains and their thoughts and all of those really good things. It reduces behavioral issues. Schools are finding this. And I think homeschooling parents, we would agree, oh my goodness, we've got some behavior issues, get outside. Well, there is something so beneficial about being outside. It is that movement. It is that sunlight. It is the natural stimulus that is for us. And getting out there is making just children happier, and happier children usually not always, usually have better behavior. And so if as a classroom, you're there with the teachers, I just say, hey, having behavioral issues, take time to get outside. It really does work. And I've done that with classrooms when I've had that possibility, just even to get outside and walk for 5 minutes is a major thing to help with some of these behavioral issues. As homeschooling parents, yes, it's get outside, run and play, wear that off. Now we can talk about it. And of course, it improves health. Because you know what? Yes, not all of our lessons have to be just sitting there. Yes, we could be hiking. Yes, we could be exploring creeks and digging into things. But even just physically being outside in the sunshine to have a lesson is going to improve health. Sunlight, that vitamin D, that fresh air, all of those are really, really good things. So those are 5 benefits just really of outdoor learning that don't even have to involve all the physical activity. That is just being outside. Have you heard of the 1,000-hour outside challenge? I love it. I follow them on Instagram. And if you would like to know more, I suggest follow them. They've got some great resources and just some great challenges. The big one being, can you spend 1,000 hours outside? And what I love is they're not just saying that this is just, it's hiking or going to the beach or all of these different things, but it's even physically just taking your lessons outside. I know that I love doing that. With my girls, we'll just take a picnic blanket out under a tree, or they lately love to pack lunch and we'll go to a nearby playground that they love and we'll eat and then we'll do some learning and they'll go and play and then they'll come back and they love that. And in fact, I think, I've started tracking, can we hit 1,000 hours outside? And with the way that my girls are, I think that we can probably easily hit 1,000 hours. But to me, it is so good just being outside. I don't like being restricted to a table, to have to learn. And that is one of the joys of unschooling and homeschooling the way that we do. We can do just so much learning outside. And if you are homeschooling and following a set curriculum, I think that's awesome. But why not take some lessons outside? Set up a picnic blanket or get yourself a picnic table that you could sit and do your work outside, because it's just so refreshing. But, can you challenge yourself? Could we spend 1,000 hours outside? And that is with learning, some learning opportunities. And then that is also with play. Okay, I love this quote by Lenore Skenazy with Free Range Kids. So all the latest research shows that play itself turns out to be the most important developmental booster of all. If it were a class, there would be a waiting list to get in. I agree. I think that's, play is so important for our kids, and especially outside play. There is just something so freeing in it. And when we can taking that play-based learning and connecting it with the idea of that they're learning outdoors, it's a match made in heaven. It really is. And, there is something just so freeing about being outside and just being able to play, whether at a playground or in a backyard or riding bikes with the neighbors, whatever it is. I truly believe that play-based learning outside is vital. So I said, my girls love being out there, and I love hearing what is going on, especially when it rains. They are out the door faster than you can say, put on some clothes. But they're you'll often hear them tramping down the tree line, looking for treasures, and they come back with things that they have found, these, oh, look at this rock that we found and all of this, or they've climbed up a tree and they're being pirates on a ship in a storm. They love that. And in fact, we had an afternoon a little while ago where it was just heavy rain for a good couple of hours, not storming, just heavy rain. And the girls got out their scooters. So there they were in their gumboots and not much else. And they are zooming down our driveway into this big puddle, at the end. And then one of them noticed that if she braked a certain way, she could get it to spray, and thought that was amazing. So she challenged her sister, and the two of them would scoot down, and then they would break at the end to see who could get the biggest spray. And then they were challenging each other. Did speed make a difference? Did how big you turn make a difference? they were learning so much just through this play, like with their scooters. And I came outside and just like watched, and it was amazing to see. This was all stuff that they were learning on their own. They didn't think they were learning. They were just having the time of their life, doing two things that they love: scootering in the rain. I mean, hey, they were wet and happy, but it's not just the rain for them. Like if it's sunny, they'll often get blocks out or the chalk, and they'll make villages all up and down like our driveway and bring out toys and like set up little cafes and do things. And they'll ride their bikes and their scooters around, and you get these huge, big, elaborate stories about what is going on. And they might just take something that they've been learning and like putting it in. I mean, I love when they do like cafes and then they're like making food and they'll create their own little ovens. You know, the imagination that is there, that is rich, and that play is so wonderful. And being outside, you know, just watching them. Well, we need to make an oven. Well, if I use like this old box and I can use this, or we need to make tables. Oh, look, we've got paving stones. We could set them up. That they're problem solving along the way. And so, I mean, can you see it? Can you see how outdoor learning, like play-based learning, match made in heaven? But I just challenge you, like in this, if being outside has been something that you've struggled with, can I challenge you to increase it? You know what? Maybe 1,000 hours in a year seems too much. I mean, I get that. But say, look at where you're at and can you increase it? And then like the next month, increase it a bit more and find ways of just getting outside to take your lessons outside, or to just really foster and encourage more play-based learning outside. Just so, because this is going to be great for your children, not only for their learning, but also just boosting their physical and their emotional health. And it will help you too. Well, thank you so much for watching and being part of this community. Hey, you can check out my website, learningthis.life, where I have like posts to go along with these videos, like with links to other things. You can also check out pocket packs, which are fun thematic units of work. Hey, you could do them outside. But you can also join us as a champion as a way to get more of these videos out there. And you can do that through patreon.com or through my website, learningthis.life.